Alright, hello everyone. I'm just doing a very quick recording here. Just to give everybody an update on where we're at with our little space game. We did a stream again last night, in which we made our asteroid field work a little bit better. Today I did a little bit more work just to fix up a few things and to do a couple of tweaks. One of that is that we're in a new spaceship, and in contrast to our previous spaceship that we were using, this has a full ship around us. So we can look behind us and we can see that there is actually more to it than just a cockpit. And the ship that is standing on the landing pad over there is a copy of this model that we're flying around in. I just put that there so I could show it off. I'll be giving it a bit more detailed tour in my next stream about it. The other thing that I wanted to just quickly touch upon, because it was also mentioned as a comment on my screen video. If you notice in the top left, I've now added a frame counter as a little debug option, and it's doing an unhealthy 50 to 60 frames per second right now while we're in the carrier. And it was actually a lot lower even yesterday. The main reason it is right now on a relatively low FPS count is because we're inside of our carrier. And this carrier model, as beautiful as it is, it is a single mesh. So it is rendered all in one draw call. And it's a highly detailed model. We're actually in one of two launch hangar areas. There's a carbon copy of this hangar underneath us. We'll see that once we go outside in a minute. There's a whole stuff bit up on top, and yeah, we're having a lot of issues rendering the whole thing. Now, as soon as I exit the carrier, you can see we are now running at a very stable 90 frames per second. And even if I turn around and we get to see our carrier fully, you'll see that the frame rate stays pretty stable. It is once we get too close to our carrier that our frame rate starts dropping again, because it's rendering way too much detail, way more detail than needed. But then again, this carrier is a stand-in model. It's just one that I downloaded off of CG Trader. And as beautiful as it is, because it is really a beautiful model, I'm probably going to go with something else once we get a little further down the line with this project. Going back to our little spaceship that we're flying around in, as I mentioned, we have a new model. This is created by a gentleman called CG Pitbull. Not his real name, I'm assuming, but that is his name on CG Trader and Sketchfab. And he sells some really, really beautiful assets for games like these. So I bought this little starship off of him as a stand-in for our hero fighter pilot or fighter plane, and we'll be using this for a little while. Oh, I found it this time. Also notice that little guy up there, which is another model made by the same guy, which I bought off of him as well. I plan to use that little guy as an enemy ship. So right now it's just floating around in space over here. There we go. So we can get a little closer. So we'll have some fun with that eventually as well, making that something we can shoot at, and that will fly around. So yeah, pretty cool. Anyway, let's leave that guy behind. We are not that far yet. Our focus yesterday during the stream was on this asteroid field. So I was having frame rate problems with that as well, because we were using very high resolution images or objects for or very high quality objects for the asteroids. There are about 8,000, 9,000 asteroids in this field at this point in time. Yeah, the fact that it's rendering nicely at a stable frame rate right now is really, really, really cool. I do plan to do a lot more here. This laptop is a pretty beefy laptop, so I want to make sure that this will be able to run on a lower spec machine. And one of the things that I plan to do is to introduce a level of detail system for this asteroid belt, where you know, when you look at the asteroids far away, they are so small. There's no point in having a detailed object. So a little billboard asteroid will do fine there, and that will make sure that even rendering a large asteroid field like this will work fine on lower end hardware as well. Same for our carrier. I'll keep using this as a stand-in model for the time being, but we will likely replace it at some point in time with something designed a little bit better for our purposes. All right. So yeah, I haven't really properly announced it on my YouTube channel, but I now stream every Friday night at 10 p.m. Sydney, Australia time. And during that stream, we work for 2 to 3 hours on this little game project, and we'll see where we end up with it and how far we can take this, and whether we can turn this into a really nice little game to play around with. All right, that's it for my update for now. Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys will join me on my next stream next Friday. Goodbye.